Hey guys, hey, it's Amy Deb, the Keto Queen. I hope you're having a great day. Guys, we have got the kitchen ready. It's smelling delicious. We are making unstuffed cabbage roll. It's been a while since I've cooked this and I really enjoy it. So guys, if you've tried it before, give me some hearts, and if it sounds delicious, go ahead and share this video right now. When you're jumping on, let me know where you're watching from and what you guys are doing for dinner. I'm going to walk you through how simple this is. I have 2 pounds of ground beef in my skillet. It is browned, and now I'm adding a red bell pepper because I love red, and a little bit of a small diced onion. So I've got diced onion and a diced red bell pepper, and we're adding it right into the skillet with some ground beef that I just browned up. And I'm using lean ground beef, so there's very little grease in there at all. And we're going to cook this on medium heat until the onion and the pepper start to get soft. And then we're going to add our next ingredient. So guys, I love this recipe, and it's been a long time since I cooked it. I actually love to make it, but because we usually have so many leftovers, I don't cook it very often because Ricky doesn't like leftovers. He'll eat some things left over, but he's very picky with leftovers. I like to make this so that I have lunch for the week. When I know I'm going to be having really weird, crazy schedules like this week, it gives me something that I can pack up and take to work really easy. And I also like to share it with my mom. So guys, it is so easy and so delicious. So I'm using 2 pounds of ground beef because we like a lot of meat in ours. If you want to do 1 pound, you sure can. And guys, the recipe to this dish is going to be in the post when I finish up the live video. But I'm going to walk you through how simple it is. So we had 2 pounds of ground beef. We've browned it, and now I just added a diced onion and a diced red bell pepper. And we're just going to let this pepper and onion cook down for a couple of minutes. If I can do it without making a huge mess, that'd be wonderful. And then before I started the video, I went ahead and diced up or sliced up some cabbage. So you'll see this big mound of cabbage over here. Someone just sent me a message yesterday or said something on a video yesterday that says, hey, I haven't cooked anything with cabbage in a long time. I was like, you are so correct. And I actually already had it on my menu for this week, so I thought that was pretty cool. What are you guys doing for dinner tonight? That's what I want to know. We are cooking an unstuffed cabbage roll, and there are only very few ingredients. So my seasonings for this dish is garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, and of course salt and pepper. So I'm going to go ahead and get those seasonings out while this is cooking down. And I should have added these diced onions and peppers sooner, but it was cooking fast. I didn't realize how fast it was cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and get my onion powder, garlic powder, and garlic powder.
That's hard to believe.
And paprika. That's hard to believe.
It's cooking faster than you was talking.
I'm telling you. Ricky said it's hard to believe it was cooking faster than I was talking. And I'm going to look and see if I have any smoked paprika. I thought I did, but it looks like I just got regular paprika in my drawer. So we're going to use regular paprika. If you have smoked paprika, that's definitely what I would recommend. Hey, Barbara, how are you, my Italian friend? How are you guys doing tonight? We had a great busy day at work today, which is always fun. It keeps the days going by very fast and keeps me on my toes, juggling so many different things in the office. We love what we do for a living, guys. If you haven't followed my page very long, you might not know that my family and I work together. So my mom and I have been working together since 2012. Yes, since 2010. We've been working together since 2010. That's a long time. It's been 12 years, actually, that we've been working together in the same business. It's an occupational health clinic that my family and I work together at, and we have a team of about 28 people. I need to count them again, but I think there's like 28 total of us. So my husband works with us, my children work with us, my son and my daughter, of course my mom and my aunt, and then we have 28 total, so we have a lot of people that work together, and we love what we do. We love it. It's fun. We help a lot of people with occupational health. So when we're at work, and it's busy. And then when we come home, we like to enjoy our time together. And then, of course, you guys know I love to help you. So I stay pretty busy, which is always fun. All right, we are making an unstuffed cabbage roll. If you haven't followed my page very long, you might not know me. And my name is Amy. I actually am from Jackson, Tennessee. And I have been living a keto lifestyle for I'm in my 4th year. So I'm in my 4th year. I lost, I don't know, like 38 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I moved from a size 12 to a size 4, and I've been maintaining that 4'6" size for 3+ years, almost full 4 years. And I absolutely love this lifestyle. I keep things super simple and delicious in the kitchen. And I really do love to cook. I have not always loved to cook, but I actually love to cook now because all of the food is easy and tastes delicious. I love to help people get started. So if you're new to this lifestyle and you would like help, put getting started in the comments and I will send you some simple getting started tips that I have used from day one and I still follow now, almost 5 years in. So we're making an unstuffed cabbage roll tonight. And so far we have just browned 2 pounds of ground beef. And then we threw in some diced onion and some diced bell pepper. I'm using a red bell pepper and the onion was just a very small onion. You can do as much as you want, but I'm going to add some onion powder to this as well. And let's see, I have got some cabbage chopped up over here. I have a can of diced tomatoes. Yes, we're going to use some canned tomatoes tonight. And right now, we're going to go ahead and add our seasoning. So we're going to do a half teaspoon of paprika. If you have smoked paprika, that's what I would recommend. Guys, this is a super delicious meal. So we're going to do, I'm going to do this one last since it's colored. I'm going to do garlic powder. So we're going to do a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. It's okay if you do a little extra, it's all right. We're going to do a half a teaspoon of onion powder. We're going to do I'm going to do a full teaspoon of salt and pepper. Full teaspoon of salt and pepper. Oh, yes. If I got enough salt. Come on out. Come on. Yeah, here we go. It's not one, there it goes. It's not one to pour out easy. The Redmond's real salt clumps in the bottom. I might do it this way. There we go. Teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, half teaspoon of onion powder, half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of paprika. So let's add that paprika in there, half a teaspoon. Smelling good in the kitchen, guys. It's smelling good in here. All right, let me put the tops on these. And the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add our tomatoes. Let's add our diced tomatoes in. Now, I'm using lean ground beef, so there's not any grease left in there. If you have some greasy ground beef, make sure you drain it before you add that seasoning. We're going to throw in our diced tomatoes. I'm going to do juice and all. Oh, yes. Oh, man. I'm going to stir this up, and then we're going to add our cabbage. So, guys, this is a super easy, delicious meal. It smells so good in here. I'm fixing to show you this skillet before I add the cabbage. So, you guys know when you cook cabbage, it's going to fill this pan up. We're going to put a top on it to the best of our ability. And the cabbage is the last thing I'm going to add so I can stir it in a little bit at a time. And the cabbage will cook down, so it's not going to be as much as it's going to look in just a second. But doesn't that look delicious? We got our 2 pounds of ground beef. We have a diced red bell pepper, a little bit of diced onion. We added a half teaspoon of paprika, half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of onion powder, a full teaspoon of salt and pepper each. And we just added a can of diced tomatoes. The last ingredient, that's it, guys. That's it. The last ingredient is the cabbage. So when you're cooking cabbage, of course, the thinner you cut it, the better. Because the smaller and thinner you cut it, the faster it will cook. So if you do big, huge, thick pieces of bacon, Lord, I think I got bacon on the mind. If you do really thick pieces of cabbage, it's going to take longer to cook. So I like to dice mine up really small or slice it really small, the same as I would if I was making the roasted cabbage in the oven. So the smaller the better. Ricky likes a lot of meat, so I'm going to have just as much meat as I have cabbage in this meal. I love cabbage. Who loves cabbage? I love raw cabbage. It's so good. All right, we're just going to put this into the skillet. I've got this on medium to high heat. It's going to be really hard for me to stir this up until it starts to cook down. So I'm just putting some of those thicker pieces, push it down into the meat. I'll throw that one away. I'll push these thicker pieces down into the meat so it'll cook a little faster, and then I can stir some more in a minute. So we're just going to put the rest of this right on top. I love raw cabbage. it. It is now a skillet full of cabbage. You can't see anything else in there. We're gonna take the top, if I can find one that fits this pan. Perfect. We're gonna put this top here so it'll cook down. And we're gonna let it cook a good 20 minutes. We're gonna stir this occasionally, make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan, especially this pan because it's very, very old. And it can stick from time to time. And we're literally just going to let this cook, guys. And when I'm done with it, when it gets soft, and all those flavors are kind of mixing together and it gets soft, I'm gonna slice up or shred up some mozzarella cheese. So when this is done, I'm gonna I'm gonna shred up some mozzarella cheese to put over the top of it, and then you serve it. You can serve it hot, and if you want to, you can garnish it with some parsley on top. I don't have any fresh parsley, so I'm not gonna do that today. But if you wanted to, that's definitely something you can do. So I'm gonna go over this really, really quickly one more time, and then I wanna see if you guys have any questions for me. I have been really busy at work today, so I have not answered messages on my keto page. So as soon as I go over this, I'm gonna see if you have questions for me right now. And then if not, I'm going to jump off here and go back to my messages so I can get caught up and make sure I'm helping everyone. Guys, if you ever need help, just send me a message. I always keep them answered within 24 hours. I never let 24 hours pass. Even when I was sick in the bed, I still made sure questions were answered. Like, it's important to me to make sure you guys are being assisted. So if you have questions, you can always send me a personal message through the Keto Queen page. So for this, I use 2 pounds of ground beef because Ricky loves beef. If you want just 1 pound, you can do 1 pound. I diced up a little bit of a small onion. You can use as much onion as you want to, but I just used a little bit of diced onion. And then I diced up a red bell pepper. So I cooked the ground beef. When it was almost finished, I added the onion and the bell pepper. Let that season for a second. Let that start to get soft, the peppers and the onion. And then I added the seasonings. So the seasonings, again, are a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and a full teaspoon of salt and pepper. And then we added the diced tomatoes. I just did put diced tomatoes and our cabbage. And you'll see it is cooking. I've got the top on the skillet, and we're going to set a timer. Set a timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to do 10-minute increments so that I'll remember to stir it, because if I get busy, I might forget. And you want to stir this around to make sure the cabbage is moving around. It's not sticking to the bottom. And guys, that's easy. It is so super delicious. It is called an unstuffed cabbage roll. I actually ran across this one day on Pinterest, and I read the recipe, and I was like, man, that sounds good. So I cooked it just like it said on Pinterest. And the only time I ever really change a recipe is if they have a lot of ingredients listed that I think is unnecessary. Because a lot of times if you pull up a recipe, they have like 10 or 15 different ingredients. And I'm like, why in the world do you need this and this and this and this? It sounds delicious with less. So sometimes I'll take a recipe from Pinterest and I'll just pick it apart, or something I may see on Google, and I'll just pick it apart and create something of my own. But this was perfect. So I've never redone it. I've never tried to do it different. Like, follow this recipe because it really is delicious. So what is the carb count for your cabbages? So cabbage, Diane, and this is one thing I definitely recommend you do. Just Google. How many net carbs are in a cup of cabbage?
Here's what I found from healthline.com. 1 cup, 89 grams. Of chopped raw cabbage contains 5 grams of carbs, 3 of which are fiber, 70.
Okay, so there you go. We've got 2 net carbs, it says. I'm going to have to Google that again. It says 2 net carbs in a cup. I thought it was 5 net carbs in a cup. So I think it's actually 5. It's just telling me 3 of those are, I don't know, it don't make no sense. But anyway, I Google a lot. So let's see. How many net carbs are in a cup of cabbage?
Here's what I found from healthline.com.
Same thing. It's telling me the same thing. How many carbs are in a cup of cabbage?
Here's what I found from healthline.com.
Same thing. I'm going with 5. I'm going with 5. And if you go to the internet and just type in how many net carbs are in cabbage, a cup of cabbage or a 1/2 cup of cabbage, you can decide. It'll tell you. Now, we also have carbs in those canned tomatoes. So I'm fixing to show you how to look at your ingredients to find out what the carbs are and what you're cooking. Because, guys, I can tell you there's going to be 7 carbs in a cup of my cabbage, my unstuffed cabbage roll, but I don't know how many carbs you're adding. So you got to look at your pepper you've added, You have to look at the onion, you have to look at the tomatoes, and really just divide it all out. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to read the ingredients to know how many carbs are in the processed canned foods that you're going to use, which I rarely use. You guys know if you follow my page, I really eat as clean as I can. So the peppers I use, the onions I use, I normally don't use diced canned tomatoes, but this recipe is delicious. So trust me, do it anyway. I'm going to show you how to do that. But what you would do, guys, if you don't know how to net out your recipes, is you write down every single thing. So write down your pepper, write down your onion, write down the canned tomatoes, write down the cabbage, write down all the things that have carbs. You add all of them up and then divide it by how many servings you're going to make out of that dish. Now that will make several cup servings. I don't know how many I'm going to have. It just depends. I haven't eaten all day long, so I'm excited to eat. I'm not starving. I'm not really hungry, but I am ready to eat something. So I definitely will have a cup. I might have a cup and a half. Just depends. I always fix one serving, and if I'm still hungry, I'll go back and fix a little more. So if I eat more than a cup, it'll be a cup and a half. Let me show you how to look at this can, and you can net out your own ingredients. So I want to show you how to do this. This is, let me turn this around. This is my can of tomatoes. So you'll see on this can, it says that there is, this comes in half a cup. So the serving size is half a cup, but look, it says there's 3.5 of those in there. Okay, so there's 3.5 servings inside this can. Now the serving says that there's 6 carbs and 1 fiber. So you guys know if you're netting your carbs, you're going to subtract the fiber from the carb count, right? Subtract fiber from the carbs. So that tells us there's 5 net carbs and a half a cup. So 5.5 a cup, but there is 3.5 of those in there. So guys, how many net carbs do you think is in this whole can? I don't want to say because then y'all are going to make fun of me because I may count it up wrong, but I usually use a calculator. So there is 5 net carbs and a half a cup. There's 3.5, so that's 1. So that's 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. I'm going to say there's 17 net carbs in this whole can. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So you add up your net carbs per serving, but there's 3.5, so I've got 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. So there's 17 net carbs in this whole can. So that sounds like a lot, right? There's 17 carbs in this whole can. But we're not eating the whole can at one time, right? So what you'll do is you'll write down your tomatoes being 17 net carbs. You'll write down your bell pepper. Let me see what it says. How many net carbs are in one small red bell pepper?
100.
Here's what I found.
It says 1 piece contains 0.6. So I know that's not right. It's hard for me to do it on my watch. I usually do it on my phone. But what you'll do is you'll write down your pepper net carb, you'll write down your onion net carb, you'll write down your tomato net carb, your cabbage net carb, add them all up, and then if you're going to make 10 half-cup servings, then you divide it by 10. So I hope that makes sense. I want to make sure you guys know how to look at your dishes to determine your net carbs if you're being very strict with your carb counts. Now, guys, I only have eaten this today. I have not eaten anything today. I had keto nat this morning, and I'll tell you a story. I actually did have a Keto Pro this afternoon on my way to Dyersburg. I had to jump in the car and go to Dyersburg. So I had a Keto Pro, and that had 4 net carbs. My almond milk had 1 net carb. So I had 5 net carbs today just in my lunch. So that's really all I've had. So I'm not going to be so picky tonight that I'm going to be detrimental or scared to eat. We never should feel that way. I want you to keep things simple and clean and easy so that you can eat when you're hungry and not be stressing over food. So if you want getting started tips, put getting started in the comments. I know I'm getting a little deeper into this than I planned to, but I wanted to make sure I'm helping you and answering any questions you have. So let's go back to the top and see if you guys have questions for me. And let me know what you're doing for dinner tonight. That way we can all share ideas. Grilled chops and baked cabbage sounds amazing, Connie. Steak and roasted veggies is what Melanie's having. Oh, Linda had a breakfast omelet with bacon and cheese. That sounds amazing. I actually wanted a breakfast casserole on my way home because I was too tired to really want to cut up cabbage and stuff. But it is what it is. I already had my ground beef out. So I had to cook the cabbage. All right. Can you hear that? It's really cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up one time, even though my timer has not gone off. You want to stir this up to get that cabbage stirred in and moved around so it can cook evenly. So we're going to take this cooked or this raw cabbage from the top and push it to the bottom. and we're gonna put the top right back on it. That top will help it cook faster, and we definitely want this to cook fast. Otherwise, it'll be in the skillet for an hour. We're gonna cook this for about 20-25 minutes. Now, depending on how thick you cut your cabbage, you might have to cook it longer. But I like to cook mine really thin. So Haley is on the phone. She has called her daddy this time. We've FaceTimed a few times already since she's been on her honeymoon. They went to a fancy dinner tonight, I think. I know she looked really beautiful in her dress. I will definitely show you pictures because she said I could.
Hey, look at it, boy.
They're having a good time. They're having a good time. So I want to go in there and see what's going on. I'm nosy. I want to see what's going on. They're having a great time together, and they definitely have included us. Burrito? They're eating Mexican? I thought they were going to a steakhouse. All right, so we're just stirring this up. I'm going to go ahead and cover it back up. And look at this now. It looks different than it did a while ago. Now it's going to keep cooking down. It's going to look even more different pretty soon. So we're going to go ahead and cover that back up. I'm going to come back to your questions. So, Haley looks so beautiful in her dress today. I had your brown sugar green beans. Ooh, hey Lisa, how are you? I hope you love them. Let's see. I see some getting started requests, so I will definitely send you all you guys getting started information as you're requesting. They're having a good time, y'all. Please, guy, follow my page. Okay, let me delete this person. I need with family pudding. I'm not sure what you mean, Connie. I missed that. Sometimes I can add a can of Rotel in place of diced tomatoes. You sure can, just to account for those carbs. Thank you, Sheila. I really appreciate that. Let's see. I'm looking real. Oh, yes, you can use fresh tomatoes, Rosalie. You sure can. What is the carb count for the cabbages? We already talked about that. I love raw cabbage too, Ellen says. Oh, well, thank you, Chris. I'm actually getting this hair colored tomorrow. Thank goodness. Because, I mean, look at them roots. Ooh, they're looking bad. But thank you so much. Let's see. I have a question. I wonder daily. Say had only 1 teaspoon of onions. What will that be? A teaspoon of onions is nothing. Look up how many carbs are in a teaspoon of onion. It's going to say 0. It's not enough onion to even count. Just like if you put a slice of onion on a hamburger, one onion ring, if you're going to count anything, count 1 carb. Because 1 onion ring, unless it's a thick piece of onion, has no carbs. It's not enough to even count, to even add up. Oh, Denise is doing tuna patties. That sounds good. Ooh, Anne's having cod and roasted vegetables, meatball subs. I see so many great things on here. Rosalie said, hey, Ricky.
Hey.
Let's see. Ricky just walked in from getting off the phone. I'm surprised Haley hadn't called me. Go visit Haley. Go. That's what I'm saying, Betty. I want to go visit her. I'll go to Mexico in a heartbeat. Actually, I can't. I got invited to go to Costa Rica later this month. I'm like, there is no way I can go anywhere else. I'm already going to New York. I already been to Kentucky. I already have been all over the place. I love to travel. And when I get to work and travel at the same time, I mean, that's just wonderful, right? So I'm trying to make it to where I can work more and travel. So I love to work. I love to travel. So I'm trying to combine them together. Love it. And so far it's been a wonderful year. But yes, if I could jump on that airplane right now and go to Mexico, I would meet up with them in a heartbeat. We already are talking about where we're going to go together when they get home. So we always have a lot of good time when we're together. All right, guys, so we're just going to let this cook. I'm going to get off here, and I got to the bottom of the questions. I'm going to get off here and get busy answering questions. If you have anything specific, a personal request or information I can help you with, just send me a message, guys, and I will be with you. And I've got to clean this mess up. Look at this mess. Lord. Hopefully Ricky will come in here and help me with this mess since he knows I got to get on here. Okay, yeah, maybe. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I love you, and I will see you all later. Bye.